Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Trey from TreyMixes.com, and today we're going to be talking about something fun, and that's mixing drums. But specifically, parallel compression, which is a really common drum mixing technique. You can use this technique for anything. I personally use it a lot for vocals and drums, but you can use it for anything. I don't know there's a single rock mix I've ever done where I didn't do it for the drums. It just adds so much and gives your drums a big, punchy, breaking through the mix sound. It can really help drive your song. Now, for those who don't know a whole lot about this, compression is a way you can take audio signal that is really dynamic in nature, like drums or vocals, that has a lot of ups and downs in volume, and help give you a more even volume across the entire chain of sound. So what we want to do with parallel compression is use a slightly compressed or not compressed at all signal and blend it with a really heavily compressed signal, so you get the benefits of really punchy hits but big long sounds that help beef up your in this case your drum sound. So let me let you hear some of this. This is the drum sounds from Timeline by Drawn Together, and once we listen to it for a second, we'll talk about how I use parallel compression to get it. Okay, so we'll start off by saying that I route all of my drum tracks to a single fader. In this case, this is a bus for the drums, and all of the drum volume is controlled with this single fader. So on this drum bus, I have a compressor that is just doing a little bit of grabbing peaks from where the kick and the snare pop through, so we can tame them down, like I mentioned, to give us a real even signal, but still have a lot of punch. So when you see that needle jumping, you see it's knocking off 2 to 3 decibels of volume level off the peaks when the kick and the snare pop through. And you're still getting a lot of the dynamics because the attack of the compressor, which is how fast the compressor grabs the transient sounds, like in this case the snare, is set a little more open so that the hits really still come through. And then after that, I have a little bit of saturation from one of my favorite plugins, my old friend, the Soft Tube Saturation Knob. It just sounds great on drums, and I recommend everybody go get this and try it however you want to try it. So I then send all of the tracks pre-fader to another bus and then give it full signal. And what this does is give us a second copy of the drum tracks routed over here to a second fader. And this is the fader we're going to run our parallel compression on, which is we're just going to slam it with the compression. The reason I choose pre-fader from our options is because that way it will give me all of the signal from this before I've adjusted the volume. So it's a full volume copy, and I can control it with this fader. So here on this channel we have another compressor that I just love for parallel compression on drums. From TDR Labs, it's called the Kotelnikov. This is a great free plugin that everyone should go get. Can't say enough about these guys. Free plugins for mixing, they're all great. So on this one, I'll let you hear just the parallel channel. This is going to sound a little strange because we're compressing it so hard that we're not letting the big peaks and the transient material get through, but we're focusing on building and accenting the longer tail of the sounds. So here, check this out. As you can see, we're knocking off 12 decibels. We're really crushing that transient, but you can really hear the long sound of the snare and the kick coming through. So I'm going to blend that in with our full drum sound so you can hear how we take the regular punchy sounds with the parallel compressed, heavily compressed signal in parallel and run it together to get our full drum sound. Now hopefully there you can hear that when I would bring it up, the snare hits would get really long and wide and big. Same with the kick hits. It would grow a lot, not only in volume, but in the size of the sounds itself. So while parallel compression will help add volume, you still want to mix it appropriately in the mix volume-wise, but you get a bigger sound, and your drums really sound punchy and they're cutting through. In case you don't want to go find this awesome free plugin, which I'll include the link in the show notes, the description. This is the stock Logic plugin. I like the Studio FET circuit. It does exactly the same thing, will work the same way. The settings are the same as the other one, but the reason we have the attack set so low is because that way we can really crush the transients before they ever get through. Unlike on the other one I showed you in the basic drum setup, this has a lot longer of an attack so that those hits come through. See, again, knocking off 10 to 12 decibels of sound. So that is how you can easily set up parallel compression for your drums. I recommend next time you have a drum mix to go try this out. Really add a lot of weight and punch to those drum hits. Thank you for watching all the way to this point. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if there's something I didn't address that you'd like to know more about, if there's any kind of questions that need answering, if you'd like to see more things like this, comments about anything. So anyway, thank you so much again, and have yourself a great day.